welcome back to the Juice, man. Been about a minute, and we're not even gonna go through the whole spill. We promised we're gonna start rolling out episodes. No. We're not gonna go.
We came in here, knocked the spider webs off the microphone, and made sure this place still had electricity. Captain Ron didn't shut us down.
We're pretty sure we're not on Spotify right now.
No, I think I quit paying on that because we weren't doing it enough. I'm not going to pay that membership. Sorry for those of you that listen to us on Spotify once a quarter.
This is our quarterly episode.
Quarterly check-in.
We just looked it up before we started. Our last podcast is on January the 18th. So
yeah,
woo! Here we are, end of March.
We've been busy though,
and we have, and really, there's like I said, we're not gonna give excuses, no promises, but we're back here to film an episode with a special guest. Had him on the show before, but now I feel like it's a whole new.
I feel like we're gonna be talking to a different man.
This is a different man here, and we're referring to Mr. Dakota Ebare. Some of you might know him from,
everybody knows him,
being the best, one of the best in the world right now, if not the top.
I would argue with anybody right now, he's the best thing on the planet right now.
Yeah, just the level of consistency.
It's crazy.
He got the wins flowing, and he's been consistent for years. But after that first win here at Rayburn, it's like the dude tasted blood in the water, and
I mean, we knew it was only a matter of time before he started winning. He's been at the top for a couple years now.
Seconds, thirds, top fives, and if you keep putting yourself in that position over and over and over again, sooner or later,
it's going to happen.
It's going to break through, and it did. He's got a win at Sam Rayburn. That was his first major win.
He beat you.
He did.
And you caught him.
I did.
What'd you have for 2 days?
47 and some change.
That's doubt.
Yeah,
what'd you have on the final day?
28 and a half.
Ooh.
It was it's been a while since then. But I kind of like put that event in the back burners, as you should. I'm sure he'll say the same thing after that win. He kind of just was looking forward from that. But man, that one was a heartbreaker because I had it the whole way in. Thankfully, I knew that Dakota had a big bag. I didn't know how good he had them. Came at the towards the end part of the weigh in and had 30.
We'll let him tell the story.
32.
We'll let him relive the moment. I want you to relive it too.
Yeah, not really. He had like 32. He needed 31 to beat me, and he had 32. So, hats off to him for that win. And then he goes on to Clarks Hill and wins another
big one. Yeah.
The biggest national victory to that point, the Invitational over there at Clarks Hill. And almost pulled off another Bass Pro Tour win right there against Keith Poche. Just.
I mean, again, I thought he had enough weight,
Yeah.
Tough
that was at Douglas and Cherokee.
Poche just absolutely wrecked him
there the final day. But once again, putting himself in those situations to win, and the dude is incredible to me. That's the most incredible thing to me is it's so hard to win. There's a big difference in like being consistent and cutting checks and being at the top half of the field or the top quarter that gets paid, and then putting yourself in a winning position. We all know, how hard it is to win. We know how hard it is to win. Everybody that fishes competitively, whether it's a freaking Thursday nighter at your local lake, or a big national event across the country, is hard to win. So that says a lot. He's fishing to win now, and I'm not saying that he always hasn't, but he's fishing to win, and he knows how to win, and he's dangerous because of that.
Yeah, we're gonna break it down with him, see what he's got to say. I want to hear it from him, kind of just what's different, what's clicking.
What is clicking?
He's always caught him, but now it just feels like he just found a whole other gear.
Yeah, like I said, knowing how to win. I mean, I've heard a lot of pros talk about that. Once you get that first win, it's like how to win. I've heard Kevin talk about that. Heard a lot of guys talk about it. So, we've been busy though with fishing tournaments. Shane, you went through the same experience, kind of like I did at the Toyota, where you didn't really know if you had it won per se, but you felt pretty good about it there at the Open, and a lot different. Obviously, a Toyota's a big win, but an Open's even bigger win just because a Classic bursts on the line. You were there over there at Lake Eufaula, and they held the day one leader to the end of the weigh-in.
He wasn't doing it until 5, though. So he was one of the last to be in.
They did it on
5,
purpose. He was the last guy to weigh in.
They
did it on purpose.
They got to do that. That makes
shortened to a 2-day event, just like my Toyota was. So
I wanted 3 days.
Yeah, I did too. But that was crazy for you because I was sitting there watching live and watching you on stage, and I was like, oh my God, I can't imagine, because the classic berth is just, it's a whole nother, it's that carrot that the Open dangles, like you've talked about before.
Yeah, I mean, we all go out there to fish, and we all know what's at stake and what we're fishing for. But until the thoughts really started going through my mind, like, man, if I actually pull this off, I'm going to Grand Lake fishing the Classic next year.
Yeah.
And that's when it got really real, and I was like, okay, now I really want this.
Yes.
Now I really, really want it.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good event, good start to the season. It's kind of crazy that you and I went to individual tournaments. You got second, I got second.
Yeah. And it's kind of obviously, like I said, the Opens are a little bit more prestigious because of that Classic berth. But it's kind of weird because, it's almost the exact same situation. It's shortened to 2 days.
It was.
And really you're in the lead for the points in the overalls at the Opens now, because that guy that won is not fishing all of them. He will still get his Classic berth because he's going to fish the rest of that division.
Yep.
But I'm kind of the same way. Dakota beat me at the Toyota, but he's got a tournament at Lake Murray. I don't see any way he's going to make Dardanelle, so I'm kind of in the same situation in my division of the Toyotas as well. So it's weird that it's worked out that way. We've had a few good team events as well here at home this season, so we've been blessed for that.
Yep.
And it's been a great. It honestly has been a challenging year a little bit for me on my end, but it's also been a great year with you here at home and some solo events. But Dakota is going to break down how he's nationally being dominant.
Yeah, maybe we can learn how to win one from him.
Yeah.
Should we get him on?
Let's get him on.
All right.
Surprised he's able to take our call.
No, man, he's a good dude.
Yeah, he is.
What surprised me is we found an opening schedule. I think there have been like 7 weeks in a row. We'll let him talk about it, but I talked to him this morning. He's like, I'm so tired.
Yeah, I bet.
7 weeks in a row. And I think he's got another podcast later today. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. Like, just finding time, and we appreciate him. So let's get him on.
Can I ask you how much money he's made before taxes?
Everybody knows.
You're a minute early.
I'm sorry. It was 12:30. Do we need to hang up and call you back?
No, you're good.
All right.
Well, you're on, bro. You are on the juice, and this is the first episode we filmed in about 2.5 months, man. But you are just so important to us.
Well, we were waiting. We're not coming back on until we get Dakota.
We got to get Dakota Ebare.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised Wyatt even wants to talk to you.
No, I like it. He said, I hate. Do you say I hate you?
Yeah.
No, man. You're my fishing idol.
Oh, come on now.
Where are you right now?
I'm at Casey Ashley's in South Carolina.
South Carolina.
So yeah, y'all are there for Murray, correct? For the next bass.
South Carolina. Yeah, we start practice on Murray. Friday.
Gotcha. Good deal.
I was just telling you. So you guys have been going 7 weeks in a row. Is that right?
Yeah, I haven't been home since the Rayburn Toyota. I've had a tournament. I've had a tournament every week since the Rayburn Toyota.
On that grind, making the most of it too.
Well, I mean, shit, might as well.
Bank account's looking pretty good, I think, though, from after 7 weeks of killing it.
Oh, man, I don't like to talk about money, but oh, good old boy like me, it ain't bad.
Yeah, it's a blessing for sure, man. But you've definitely earned it.
It is, man. Because I was just talking the other day. I forgot who I was talking to, but I mean, like literally, less than 2 years ago, I was living in J.P. Williams' spare bedroom. I mean, didn't have a pot to piss in, really. And now I'm fortunate enough to, buy some land and be building a house right now. And I mean, it's just surreal, honestly. I mean,
Yeah,
quite
no,
frankly,
it's been a wild ride. It's been super fun to watch. I mean, even from our last episode we did with you, there was some uncertainty on going to the BPT, and glad they brought you in, and you just took that and just, I mean, on fire.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. I mean, everything, happens for a reason. It all works out. I'm glad that it did, because I mean, I will say this. I mean, you look at what fishing at the Bass Pro Tour has done for my brand and for, uh, for me as an angler. I mean, it's really given me a lot of opportunities. It's opened up a lot of doors for me with other companies, and just totally changed everything. Honestly, just being able to get on that platform and then be fortunate to have a little success. I mean, it's crazy, but I like it, and I think it's important for me to share I guess kind of the story behind that in a sense, not trying to get all in depth in it again, but if I can do it, I truly feel like other people can too.
No, it's definitely inspiring. Like you said, man, 2 years ago you're staying in somebody's spare bedroom, and now I mean, I just told Wyatt before we called you that in my mind you're the hottest angler out there right now. I mean, you're the best in the world. If I had to start ranking people, I'd put you at the top of the list. I mean, you got so much momentum, it's crazy. And it's super fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is I don't want this to be I'm not trying to I'm trying to have a career in the sport. I mean, that was the goal all along. And so, like, you see guys that they get still have good years and stuff like that. But I mean, in order to really have a career in the sport, I mean, you have to be consistent. So that's something that I've kind of, really put a lot of emphasis on since day one. And it hasn't been an overnight, like, just shoot to the top deal. I mean, we've all been friends for long enough. I mean, I went from when I first moved there to kind of get my butt kicked a little bit, and then slowly starting to have a little success, and then consistently catching checks, and then consistently being in the top 10, and then, now, being fortunate to get a couple wins. So I think that's important to keep things into perspective, that, like, things don't happen overnight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
because people, a lot of people don't know me, like, so they all of a sudden they see you win, they're like, oh, or they see you win too, and they're like, oh, who's this? That just happened. Like, whoa, where'd this guy come from? But it wasn't something that just happened.
Right.
It's taken, it's been since 2017 when I moved to Rayburn, and that's when all this really began.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, you definitely have put your work in and your time in. I remember, we talked about in the last episode when you moved here, you said, I think this is where the best anglers live, and this is where I need to be to better myself and compete.
100%. You're a product of your environment.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that, like you said, anybody that does know you knows how hard you work. At least I do, man. And I've got a little, just a little bit more of a glimpse of it. Fishing a couple invitationals against you, I see how hard you work, and it's just, it's not given by any means. And you're definitely blessed, but you've worked for that. So I think
you inevitably, like, you put yourself in the position.
That's what I said. Yeah.
To be lucky, like, there's a lot of luck that goes on in fishing. I mean, Patrick Walters and I had that conversation the other day while we were sitting there at the Classic on Sunday. I just seen him walking through the crowd. We talked for a minute, and it's just like how narrow the margin is success and then struggling sometimes fishing. It's usually so narrow. It's one cast. It's one little bitty thing that turns around the whole event, that turns around the whole season. But if you put yourself in enough of those positions, like, eventually, like, one of them will go right, and you kind of can break through.
Yeah, that's exactly before we got you on. That's exactly what I said. I said probably one of the most impressive parts to me about Dakota is how he puts himself in those positions over and over again, and eventually, it's just gonna happen, man. I mean, but that's hard to do., You know, there's a difference in putting yourself in a position, like I said before the show, of cutting a check or, doing a, you know, a 10 or 20 win, or, you know, 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 getting good points for an event and putting yourself in a winning position. And that's what you're doing. And that's why I think you're dangerous, and I think everybody else would agree,
I think that there was a change there. And it's hard to say. It's like everybody walks in a different path in life. They walk in different shoes. We all, there's a lot of us that want to, fish at the highest level and have careers in the sport, but we don't always follow the same path. So we're not, we all have different financial struggles and all those things. Some of us have responsibilities with family and stuff back home. But for me, that was something that was key. For me, was just a slight change in mental approach. And, I went from when I first started, I had to get checked to continue going. Like if I didn't get a check out, there was a couple times I remember being at Grand Lake wanting to go fish all over in the lake because there were fish on beds down there, but not knowing if I had enough gas money in the tournament to get to the bottom end of the lake and back. And not knowing if my 2003 Ranger would make it down there back. But like when it changed for me is when I quit fishing for I quit even thinking about what it would take to get a check. And that's whenever I got overall more consistent, even in finishes, but like higher finishes. But I quit. Man, if you're fishing for 40th, because 40th place is the last check, you're going to either finish 35th, you're going to finish somewhere between 35th and 45th every single time. You're not just going to, very rarely, and it'll happen every once in a while, but if you're fishing to get a check, like if I can just squeak in there and get me a check in this one, I'll be good. How many times have you heard a guy say that and they end up winning the tournament? Very rarely. Like it happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but very rarely.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Jacob Wheeler ever puts his boat in the water and ever does the thought ever cross his mind, oh man, if I can just catch me 10 a day here, I'll give me a check and I'll get out of here.
Yeah. Never,
ever. Wheeler, Thrift, Jordan Lee, Kevin. You think Kevin's trying to fish to get a check?
Yeah.
None of those guys. Brandon Polinick. You think Gusty was fishing that tournament at the Classic to try to just, I can just get me one. If I can just finish top 10, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
That was never. So when you start thinking like that, it changes your whole approach. But then inevitably, you're not going to win every one of them. But if you're fishing if you know if I catch 20 a day and I win, and you practice that way, like for 2 days, 3 days, 1 day, whatever it is, if you practice looking in that mindset, all right, I got to catch 20 a day to have a chance to win this thing. And you look for that quality of fish, and you got to be realistic to the body of water that you're on.
Yeah.
But if you're looking for that quality of fish, you have a bad day, you catch 15. Well, you're still in 10th. You know what I'm saying? You're going home with a good check anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it makes perfect sense.
No, it does.
And that's when things kind of changed for me, is when I quit thinking so conservatively and got more aggressive.
Well, I can tell you from my experience this year, that definitely is what got me. Because the first event on Okeechobee, for example, I had myself in a decent position. In the second day, I just tried to lay up and just go chase that check. And that, like you said, that inevitably is what got me. So
no, because that like the check will go away, like that little, like, because like that consistent will, and then you just hit panic mode, like, all right, well, I can go over here, I can hit this little drain, I can catch me a limit, that'll get me a check, like I'll be good. Then when you give that drain and they all left, and then you're like, oh shit, now I'm not even gonna get paid. Oh, this is bad. What am I gonna do? And then you are so far mentally from being where you need to be moving forward that it's like, you know what I'm saying, you just completely spin out.
That is it right there for me.
Yeah. And now that you're kind of clicking at this level, I mean, there's got to be like a little bit of a confidence thing, right? I mean, little pep talks in your head, I mean, I'm just curious what goes through you.
You should have followed along. You should have been in the boat with me at Douglas. There wasn't much confidence going on at Douglas till about 12:30, son. I mean, I was already like, dude, I was so ticked off and mad and lost and clueless, dude. I mean, I was. And that's really, I guess that's not true too, but because I in the back of my mind, I knew what I needed to be doing, but I wasn't doing it because I was being hard headed and like fighting with myself internally and just having a terrible day. But there is a level of confidence that comes with it and making decisions and stuff, taking chances and stuff. But dude, it's fishing. I don't give a dang how good you get at it. It's still freaking hard sometimes.
Yeah.
So hard.
No doubt.
Yeah, no.
But the confidence, I guess, keeps you level headed in a sense. That whenever everything is going wrong and it's so tough out there, it's having the confidence to know that if it's this dang tough on me, it's this dang tough on everyone else. So let me keep a level head and figure just a little bit of something out and get through it. You know?
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense. Man, I was glued to it watching there. I thought, man, this dude is
Gonna get him another
one. Like, this is so fun, so incredible to watch. But I mean, in all honesty, you did your job. You did what you probably, and I'm not speaking for you here, but I felt like you probably felt like I did my job. I just got beat by somebody who just absolutely hammered them.
100%. I just got beat. I just got beat.
Yeah.
And I can live with that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Now, yeah, I had a couple opportunities to actually win. I lost a couple fish that I felt like I didn't handle right. Like, I felt like I was like, man, I should have let him have a little longer before I set the hook. Just split-second decisions that you can always look back on and harp on. But I'm sure he had plenty of those throughout the tournament too. So did probably Michael and everyone else. So you can't really harp on those too much. At the end of the day, though, like I had a great day. I caught way bigger of a bag than I had the first day. You know, the second biggest bag of the tournament.
Yeah.
I just got beat. You know, and you can live with that, knowing that, hey, you went out, you had a better day, you got better at what you were doing. Just somebody did a little bit better, and they come out on top, and I can I can live with that. We can build off of that. We can move forward positively like that. Now, if you go out on the last day with the lead, and you drop it, which I've done at times, those are the ones that really haunt you.
Yeah, I can imagine
for sure. Yeah.
So I want to back up to the Toyota, which that's kind of like your first big win, is it not? Or am I missing one?
Yeah, no, that's it.
So I want Wyatt to relive it a little bit too.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't got a chance to talk either since, I saw you at weigh in, congratulate, whatever, but it was real brief and you had to jet off and keep killing it out there on the road. But, break down Rayburn, the final day of Rayburn, because you smashed him on that day. I mean, just like roles reversed here, Wyatt did his job, improved his weight, had 47 pounds. Anybody would have said that's the win. But here comes Dakota, just a little bit better.
Well, man, I was looking forward to that all fall. Like, as soon as they announced that, I was like, it's not really convenient for me to fish that tournament, but man, like, I just feel like that could be really good. And I didn't get to fish a whole lot either. Like, I didn't get to practice a whole lot, do anything. But in my mind, like, I kind of had, we've all spent enough time up there. We know kind of what's going down. But it's always crazy though, because every year is a little bit different. Like, I was talking to Marshall Hughes yesterday, and like we were talking about like how things are going at the lake and this, and he's like, dude, it's set up perfect, but like, I cannot catch him this year the way I caught him last year. In the same type conditions. So it wasn't like I knew all along like what I was going to go do.
Sure.
I just had a good idea of what I needed to look for, and it just one of the things where it all worked out. Man, it was kind of crazy. I practiced that Monday with my mom, and the tournament started on Wednesday, didn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it was a Wednesday start.
Yeah, it was a Wednesday because I remember I practiced with my mom on Monday. And she just sat on the boat with me. We went around just kind of looking. It was so nice. It was perfect. It wasn't windy. It was slick calm, and I could really practice and look around. And, I mean, I didn't catch much. I caught like a 6 and a 7, and, like, that was about all I caught.
Just a 6 and 7.
Or actually, I might have caught like an 8. Actually, I think I caught like a 6 and an 8. But I only caught 2. But I seen some areas that they were in, and I didn't even make a cast. I was like, geez, look at this,
Yeah.
And they could leave, they could stay. I didn't really know what was going to kind of go down, but I just said, well, like, if I keep running the right areas, maybe I'll run into them. And the first day, my timing was a little off, and I think it was really windy, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, but and the first day I know my time was a little off. I showed up where I ended up catching them at like a little bit late. I think I caught one or two, but they were kind of small, and I missed a couple really big ones. And then on the third day, or the second day, which would have been the third day, it would have been canceled. And I pulled the right place, right time, and they were loaded. And but it didn't happen like real fast. I caught a couple, and they scattered. And I caught a couple, and they scattered. Then I come back that afternoon, caught one more 9-pounder, and that kind of anchored the deal.
Didn't you say that you could have had 40 or something that day? Was that?
I mean, who knows? But yeah, I lost. I hooked up on two more that I didn't turn. Like, it was, yeah, they're giant. And I did see a couple on live scope that, you know, I couldn't get to, like, that would short strike or something that I know how big they were. But I mean, I didn't actually catch all of them off a live scope. I caught some on a football jig, caught some on a 6XD, but I locked up on a couple of them that I know were big and just didn't get them, you know. So, and that was, you know, I mean, how many times in your life are you gonna have a chance to have that big of a weight in a tournament like it, right? You know, I mean,
yeah, no, it's rare opportunities.
So, it even though, I mean, I was glad I won. I was going back in the weigh-in, just, man, I was pretty upset, pretty frustrated, because I felt like since I had found those 3 or 4 schools that I had of really big ones, I felt like, shoot, if I found 4 schools of them in one day, like there's a few, you know, there's some other guys that know, like, where some giants are, and it was just it was the right time, you know, that there was just some big ones grouped up for whatever reason that you know, during that week, and then, you know, for Danny Osmond to catch 41, 42 the next day, wherever they had. I mean, and, you know, I don't think I really truly, because of how bad the wind was blowing the next day, I don't think they were fishing where I was fishing. So I'm sure they were fishing something totally different. So just think about that. I mean, why I caught 30, I caught 30, they kept 40. Like, there were some freaking giants.
Yeah, they were together.
Yeah, Rayburn pre-spawn is unreal. I mean, when you hit it timing right. But like you said, Rayburn is so weird like that. I mean, I think a lot of lakes are.
Yeah, think about this though. Like, I was having a conversation with Derek, like, the day before the tournament, and he's like, "Man, it ain't gonna take that much. Like, it ain't. It's not set up right. Like, it's not. The moon's not right." He's like, "If you look back at when we had those giant bags, the moon was right, and it like pulls." And so I mean, hell, he caught more big bags than I have. I took his word for it. I was like, "Oh, well, you know, whatever." And then, like, inevitably, like, we still catch some giant bags. And like, it was like in between moons or something, and it wasn't like it was so I don't. That confuses the hell out of me, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't, because I mean, a lot of times I feel like a lot of those big bags are caught when the moon is right and when they're pulling up and all that stuff. But so whatever reason, they were grouped up right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I guess it could be different in the sense that, like, he might have been fishing shallower than me.
Sure.
And the stuff that he looks for whenever he catches his big bags is maybe set up a little different than what I was, or maybe that what Danny was, or what I don't know. I have no idea what those guys do. Yeah. But it's just, you just never freaking know. Like, you really don't. And that's why, like, man, I don't take a whole lot of weight into my practice going into a tournament. Like, I usually kind of room by myself, or I room with Kyle, I room with whatever. And I won't go out to dinner. I don't get involved with the whole dot talk thing, dude.
Sure.
Like, on tour, I talk to Michael Neal, and I talk to Cole a little bit, but Cole's always like, well, man, I'm just flipping a jig, caught 4 6-pounders a day, or like, Cole's just so, like, lackadaisical, John Cox. Like, it's just good. But I'll talk to Neil a little bit and stuff, but, like, man, I try to stay out of all that dock talk, dude, because you never know how it's going to go. And there's always a couple guys sitting around at the stump or wherever. oh dang, I had 25 pounds a day, I had 30 pounds a day, and I'm like, what? Like, the tournament's not for a couple of days, and I'm like, I don't know. It just to me like that, and it messes with my head.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to hear that because I wasn't fishing to catch 30 pounds a day. I was practicing, but inevitably, like I started thinking, well, dang, could I have caught 30 today? No, hell no, I couldn't have caught 30 today. And I'm like, damn, I'm missing the boat. And then it'll send me off on a wild goose chase, and then I'm it's not where I need to be mentally. So I just, dude, I try to stay to myself, and then it probably comes across as rude at times, especially when you're at home and, there's a lot of people you want to see and you want to go hang out with everybody, and see everybody. But, dude, I just can't get wrapped up in all that dock talk. It spins me out.
Yeah.
I get that. I kind of feel the same way, People come in and tell you all kinds of stories and just can't let it get in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you're going to do, and it's going to work out its own way.
Yeah, you just never know, like, how it's going to go. Like, it's just crazy how much it changes. So I think that's why it's so important to practice for that. Like,
Yeah.
I think so many guys get so wrapped up in, dude, they're going to be doing this. I got to do this. I got to do that. Like, and it never, it always changes. Always.
Yeah. That was a slugger though. That was a great event. And I don't know what would have happened if we'd have went another day. Dakota probably would have dropped about 35. But that was, man, that really was awesome. I was truly me and Dakota talked after that event on the phone for a while, but I was truly happy for him,
Well, I appreciate it, man. I mean, you're gonna get yours. I promise. I mean, you're kind of. I mean, dude, you've been really close, just like I was for a while. So I mean, I think you're gonna be fine, dude. I mean, you just got to keep fishing. How do you feel about the? Let me hear your take on the tackle warehouse stuff and the invitationals. How do you feel about it? What are you thinking? What are your thoughts?
Well, first thing I'll say is I'm getting my ass kicked. But I will say that it is 110% all my fault, man. We talked about Okeechobee for a little bit. I put myself in a decent position on day one, and I just go back to Okeechobee, for example, and I think about how calm I was on day one. And I was just fishing, man. I knew I was around some fish. I didn't find a whole lot in practice. I only had one area. From what I've gathered from Okeechobee, that's all you really need is a few areas with some bass in it. I was calm. I caught a big one. And I fished calm. Then day two, I've never felt that amount of pressure on me before I took off. Like I've never felt it. And I think it's part of being
Were you an early
yes,
boat number on day two?
I was early. Yes, and I was due in early, and I knew it. In my mind, I was thinking if I catch 12 pounds a day, I'll get a check. Like you said, terrible mindset. But me and Nick LeBrun were sharing some water. And me and him talked after day one. He had about 19, I had about 18 and a half, and I was like, you think it's going to be tough in here tomorrow? He's like, oh, yeah. It's going to be tough to get in here tomorrow.
You think it was mind games?
No, because he was
right. Did you catch him right there south of Tin House where he was?
Yeah. Where you and Kyle were? Yeah, we were all in that.
I didn't know. You didn't have your boat wrapped up, I think. I didn't.
No, I didn't. Well, day two didn't help when I watched Kyle Hall scope about a 7.5 pounder right in front of me. I was like, this dude's out here scoping on Okeechobee, bro.
He's next level.
Yeah,
he is. We ain't gonna get on that subject, but yeah,
that was it was. And I got in there and I didn't get bit like immediately or as fast as I should have. I also broke off one over 6 on like my second cast of the morning, so I was flustered. I mean, I've never been so rattled. And I pulled the trolling motor, and let me tell you, when I got done at the end of that day, I burned every drop of fuel out of that boat, and that is the worst thing you could ever do on Okeechobee. Really in general, but especially on Okeechobee.
It's taken me several years of going down there to kind of finally, get comfortable there. It's a frustrating place. It's cool when it's good, but it's frustrating when it's tough. And dude, I'll tell you this: on day two, I was a late boat number on day two, but I went to where I started at. I put my trolling motor down. I never cranked my boat. I wasn't due until 4:30 or whatever time it was. I think it was 4:30. I didn't crank my boat until 4 o'clock.
Wow.
From the time I put my trolling motor down, and that's the only time I've ever done that. Ever in a tournament.
Yeah, but you do it there,
But you got to do it there.
Yeah.
Like you have to. Now I watch my fish move. and the fish that you were catching moved. They all went back there where Paul Elias.
Yeah, he swacked them
further back
to the
he
shoreline. Yeah,
he smoked him again on the third day too. But man, I couldn't bring myself, even though like I knew what was going on. Like my fish that I was catching went back there, and I'm sure yours did too. But man, I couldn't bring myself to follow them because I had watched those guys catch the shit out of them on day 2, and they watched me catch them the first day and the second day. So like for me to like leave where I was at and go get on top of them in that little area, I just didn't feel like was right. So I mean, I kind of bailed out of there on the third day, didn't catch anything. But to your point, on day 2, I never picked up my trolling motor. I just stayed in that area. I stayed calm, and it was a absolute grind. But I got 5 of the right ones, and ended up having a decent day. But man, that's hard to do whenever the pressure's on you. Like so hard to do.
Yeah, I learned a lot from that though, and I'm very happy for that. I'm glad I learned that lesson. You know what I mean?
And you can't learn those lessons unless you are in those situations.
Correct.
And if you don't have the right attitude, you don't even learn from those situations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you're wanting to do this for a living. You are doing this for a living. You're wanting to, have a career in the sport and do that. So you're going about it with the right attitude. If you can look back at tough tournaments like that and you say, this is what I did wrong, then you got better, and you're going to continue to get better, and you'll continue to, excel in the sport. But that's the whole key, is being able to stay level-headed, understand when when you get humbled in the sport, and learn from it, and then continue to get a little bit better. But if you don't put yourself in those situations, if you don't fish that event, if you don't pay that entry fee, if you don't drive across the country down there to Okeechobee, you stay at Rayburn, you probably catch another good bag, you have a good tournament, you pat yourself on the back, and then you go on about your way.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get better. Like you do get better, but you don't get better in the way that you're getting better.
Right. No,
you know what I'm saying?
No, I 110% agree. Yeah. And I was upset right after the event, but then I had that mindset like, hey man, if I ever go back, like I'll feel pretty good about it.
Yeah.
I won't catch them the same way.
Much better.
Yeah. I may not catch them the same way, but now I know a lot more about the fishery, and in Okeechobee, you're inevitably going back if you're going to do this for a living.
It might be 5 years from now before you go back there and the conditions are the same, and you kind of like they're spawning, they're whatever, the water's up, whatever. Like next time you go back there, the water might be bottomed out low and their shad are spawning. Something crazy. But it'll come back around, or it may not even be at Okeechobee, dude. You might be at Eufaula, and you end up in an area where there's some fish that are spawning or whatever, and you're like, if I just be patient, this will all come together. And like you'll think back on that lesson you learned at Okeechobee, and you're like, if I just chill out a little bit, it'll all be all right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that's like, I asked you first thing off the bat, like, were you an early boat number that day? And you said, yeah. Because man, that clock can mess you up.
I kept looking at that clock, bro.
But what's crazy is like, dude, you only got like an extra hour.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of times where you may catch, that key fish in that last hour, but for the most part, like you still had plenty of time.
Oh yeah, 100%.
You still had plenty of time in the amount of time that you had, but it's mentally you all of a sudden you start paying attention to it. It starts ticking and it starts running, and it runs away from you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and
it's just crazy
I
how our
too.
mind works.
It is. It's all up there. It's all in your head, dude. It really is.
Totally.
So yeah, but I'm learning, man, and I didn't have a great event at Clark's Hill either. I didn't fish near. I know where I messed up there too, because I didn't fish near open-minded enough. You look back at a lot of the guys that did well, and obviously you won there. Just fishing super open-minded and free, and just fishing there helped a lot of guys. And I didn't do that. I got too locked into a deal. I really think my fish left me. I know they did. I think they moved up. I didn't move with them. Once again, learning not to get too locked in and being versatile, being open-minded. That time of the year is especially a big thing. So I'm learning. I'm excited about. I'll leave for Dardanelle tomorrow for the next Toyota, and then go straight from there to Eufaula, Oklahoma. So I'm excited. I'm not totally disappointed in the year. Thankfully, We've had some rule changes here back home where I'm able to fish some team events and get back home and fish some Texas team trails, bass champs. They've opened it up to guys like
Did they really?
Yeah, they did. So I've been able to fish some events at home. Me and
That's
Shane
good.
have had a really blessed year at home, and we're not catching them the same. I know a lot of people may think that we're not catching them the same way. It is changing every day out here right now. So we've been fishing totally different every time we put our boat in the water. So it's keeping me and him both fresh and versatile for when we're on the road, you know. And so, and because Shane's fishing all 9 opens this year.
Shane's on a fast track to the Elite Series.
Easy, boys. We're down. We got one down. 1 down, 8 to go.
There'll be no more Juice podcast then. They'll be too busy chasing around the Elite Series.
Let's hope that's the case.
That'd be awesome, dude. It really would. You smashed their butt down there.
Yeah. I mean, that's just another tournament where, you know, same thing. I did my job. Somebody just did it better.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that was. I mean, dude, what'd you have, like 23 a day or something like that? Or what'd you have? You had 23
I had 21 and some change day 1, 24 and some change day 2. So, like you said, improve your weight. I mean, I've heard from guys like yourself and Daryl and other people talking to guys that are at the top of the food chain, you know, elites or BPT, and they always say, man, when you get to that level, you need to be improving your weight as the tournament goes on. I mean, as kind of
yeah. I mean, anytime you can look back and you improve your weight, you had a good tournament. Like you might. I mean, and you gotta take that in perspective. Sometimes it might be, you know, you're in damn dead last play. Like going into Murray this week, you know, we start practicing on Friday, but 2 years ago we were there. I had 11 pounds the first day. I had 4 for 11 the first day. I'm like in dead last place.
Yeah.
The second day, I catch almost 19, and I move up to get the last $10,000 check. It wasn't a great event. I finished 60th, but it actually really was, right? Because you improved, like you move forward. As long as you're going forward, you're going the right direction. Like, and over time, it builds and it builds and it builds and it builds, and that's what actually I truly believe becomes the momentum.
Yeah.
You know, you just got to keep it in perspective. It may not be going from freaking 5th to 1st. Yeah. It may be going from 70th to 70 or to 50th.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it's as long as you're getting better. So, yeah, I kind of kept up with that event, man. That looked like a super fun event. The weather looked like it sucked, but dude, that place has got them.
Yeah, man. It sets up well for guys like us, you know, fishing Rayburn and stuff like that. That's why
it's a little Rayburn deal.
Yeah,
dude.
it is. Shane was talking to me in practice. I'm like, oh god, this is a fastball in your wheelhouse right
dude,
here.
I landed on him in practice, honestly. Like, I was on the lake 10 minutes and I found a school and I was like, I called Wyatt and I was like, I'm kind of low key freaking out a little bit because this lake is silly easy, you know.
Yeah.
That's funny. I heard Brett called Kyle or whatever. I probably wasn't even supposed to overhear the conversation, but Brett and Kyle, they're kind of tied or whatever. And Brett was like, dude, I'm freaking, this is giant, dude. Like, he's like, I'm freaking out, man. I don't know what to do. I'm like, and then, you know, y'all both still smashed the shit out. I mean, I have no idea how he was catching them. I didn't, whatever, but I don't even know how you or anybody caught them. But evidently it was
on, man.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was good. It's a good fishery. I hope we go back. I'm surprised that, you know, that there's not more big events there. They got a great facility. It's good fishery. Need more big events.
The one time we got to fish it, the shad were spawning, and it was pretty insane.
Yeah.
It was good.
Great
really
fishery.
Good. But yeah, we went there. I went there pre-fish, like it was probably in April. Before that event, because our tournament was like the second week of May. But I went there and pre-fished in April. I couldn't get over like the amount of schools of fish offshore, just like, and they were big and dumb and
and they would
cool.
eat.
Yeah, I was throwing a big spinnerbait, dude. It was probably one of the best like lead spinnerbait bites I'd ever. Like, you just, there they are, you roll around. As soon as the spinnerbait hit the bottom, like, dang, no, man, this is old school cool.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know. Like, I don't usually even throw a big spinnerbait, but I had like an ounce and a quarter in my boat, like, and I just tied it on for some reason.
That's so funny, man. I picked one up in practice. I was like, well, I'm on you fall. I have to throw a big spinnerbait because that's what they do here, and don't want to catch like a 5 in practice. I was like, oh, that's cool. Caught one on a spinnerbait.
It worked.
It works.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it actually
cool.
worked.
Probably just refreshing to see a school and they actually fire. Unlike here at Rayburn, when you freaking run it over their face about 20
Yeah, man.
times.
These Rayburn fish, man, they see a bait. If they don't want it, they're out of there.
See you.
Dude, honestly, it's gotten to where I don't even fish like that no more, man. Like I got 98 hours on my boat right now, and I've been running this boat since October of last year.
Yeah.
And I have never like had a boat with that few of hours in that amount of time. I just don't even, man, like, you know, obviously there's still times where I'll do it. Like I'll do it at Guntersville this year when we go there, you know, and stuff, but I won't do it as much. And I won't do it in the same way that I used to. I mean, there would be times where I'd only make, you know, 10 casts in practice.
Yeah.
Idle. And I just don't do it no more, man. Just to your point, those fish just don't. That ain't. Except for a few times, those just aren't fish that you can depend on and win on anymore. They just don't. They get. If there's 100 of them down there, every Tom, Dick, and Harry done seen them sungunners. Like,
yeah, they do.
And it don't ever work out. All it usually ends up is a pissing match on the water. Somebody getting their feelings hurt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. we saw a little bit of that.
You follow.
I'm too little. I'm too little for all that. And then I'm little, and I got a bad attitude. And I just don't need to get my ass whooped in the water. So I just stay away from places like that.
There was a few altercations from you follow out there. That was freaking hilarious.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of
a little bit of drama. A little bit of drama on that one.
We'll talk about some of that stuff off the record. I'd like to get the full scoop on some of that stuff. But.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. There's been a lot of talk about it, but I'm looking forward to the next one. What about your schedule? So you got Murray, and then how's the rest of the schedule for you? You like everything, which I mean, I'm sure you do. You're going to catch them everywhere you go.
Man, I think we have a great schedule this year. There's not a bad one on it, honestly. I'm here for a couple days. We start practicing on Friday at Murray, and then I'll leave straight from Murray, go to Eufaula. I'm going to go home for 3 days, check on my house, check on everything around there, and then I'll go to Caney for heavy hitters, and then leave Caney, go to Eufaula, or not Eufaula, Lake of the Ozarks for the Tackle Warehouse Invitational, see Wyatt up there, and then come back home for a week, then go to Guntersville. Then we're off for 2 weeks, and then we go to Cayuga first week of June. So that'll be an absolute slugfest. Go from there to the Potomac, fish that Invitational, leave there, go to St. Clair. That'll be a slugfest. And then we've got July off, and then we go to Saginaw Bay. So for me, man, it's what else could a guy ask for? Pretty good schedule, you know.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah, they're all good, man. I like it. Major League Fishing's going to these good venues, man, because you know it just makes the production better. It makes the fans enjoy it better. I mean, it's good to go to good fisheries.
Are you going to jump any of those Toyotas like on the St. Lawrence or Champlain? I know you love those. At least Champlain.
Yeah, they all kind of conflict a little bit with other stuff. The only other Toyotas that I was going to fish, I actually had plans on fishing Eufaula and the Eufaula, Alabama one.
Yeah, I got my eye on that one.
Yeah, I mean, Shane looked at that one too.
I want to fish that one because that one will be real fun. And then I was going to fish the one in September on Lake of the Ozarks. But thankfully, winning at Rayburn qualified me for the championship, so I kind of don't have to travel all over the country for that. I'm actually going to come home that week of May instead of going to Eufaula because I've got to attend to some stuff around the place. We're building a house over there and everything, so I just got to kind of go home when I can, attend to that, and all that. So that's going to opt me out of that one. But I'm looking forward to the Toyota Championship at Cumberland, though. I mean, not Cumberland, Table Rock. That'll be cool.
Yeah, Table Rock in the fall. Be a good one.
Should be interesting, man. I mean, it should be really fun. I mean, there'll be some mad co-anglers, but I don't know.
Man, co-angler numbers are down. Like if you look at the Open, we only had half the number of co-anglers. We had 117, I think.
It's a little different with Toyotas, though. Toyota's got a championship. There's nothing there.
Yeah, there's not any incentive for this guy to fish the Open.
No, not on the Open side. No.
No, I don't know. You know, I know what we're gonna have to do on the Toyota Series side of it. I mean, they're just gonna have to let guys go without co-anglers, and that's all there is to it. Just like the Opens have done.
Yeah.
And,
No, it's
That's
and
gotta
that's,
happen. That's gotta happen.
and it's a challenge for the companies because they, the co-angler entry fees, they need those. That's a big financial part of the equation.
For sure, yeah.
People don't like talking about money, but money makes the world go round. Them trailers and all them production crews and all them payouts and all that stuff don't get there unless you got the money behind it.
Yeah.
So, it's a tough thing, man. I mean, I honestly, man, one of the reasons why I'm not going to Eufaula, aside from having some other stuff that I probably need to attend to, is that, man, I don't want to get into that. I don't want to, hurt a guy's feelings in the back of my boat that paid, his hard-earned money, and he don't feel like he has a legitimate shot to win. I mean, if I was to go to Eufaula the second week of May, I'm going to run 62 brush piles a day, and I'm going to make about 2 casts in each one of them, and the guy on the back of the boat is going to be probably not happy by the end of it.
No.
And so because of that, I'm not even going to go. Like, I'm not going to go because, I mean, if I was in a different position or whatever, and I needed the tournament to go to try to, make some money or whatever, then I would go. Like, but for me, I don't think it's worth at this, like, I don't need to go do that. It's just going to make somebody mad, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's definitely a different game for sure. And it's tough for co-anglers.
It's a controversial deal. Like, and I mean, but you know what? Like, even if you take live scope out of the equation, I'm still do the same thing.
Still doing it, yeah. Still running piles for sure.
Mm-hmm. What's funny is that, like, Kyle's co-angler on day 3, Kyle's co-angler at the Toyota Championship ended up winning on day 3, and he had like 20 pounds on the back of Kyle's boat.
Smashed him.
And Kyle was fishing as, like, hardcore live scoping as you possibly could, and the guy smashed him out of the back of the boat.
Yeah.
As a co-angler, if you draw a guy that's using live scope that knows what he's doing, you're gonna be fine. It's like Justin Seaton drew Cody Huff on day 2 at Rayburn, and Justin's my best friend. I talked to him into entering the event and everything or whatever, and I know he's got a baby at home and a newborn baby and everything. I'm like, man, I felt so bad. I was like, man, I hope he gets a check so he gets his money back, And so I was kind of a little bit tired of the situation. Well, he drew Cody, and I was like, dude, you'll be fine. Because he was, like, in check range the first day. He just needed to catch a couple fish. I said, I promise you, Cody Huff is good enough with live scope. You will be fine. You will catch a limit. Just fish.
Yeah.
Like, you will be around more bass than anybody else in the tournament. Just fish. I said, every time he catches one, he's going to draw 2 or 3 of them to the boat, drop a jigging spoon down. I promise. You will be fine. And he did. They both caught the hell out of him all day.
Yeah.
If you draw a guy that knows what he's doing with live scope, like, you're going to be around
fish, for sure.
Just fish. Just throw a swim bait.
Yeah.
Just fish. Do whatever. Watch it 2 deep. If on the high side, if you could be out there in the middle of nowhere, just,
nothing to throw at, for sure.
Nothing to throw at. But I mean, man, look, every time I see somebody complaining about technology on live scope or
social media, whatever, yeah.
Social media, the UPS guy just threw me all off. I can't do things at once. Anytime I see somebody complaining about technology on social media, I immediately just want to say, well, maybe if you get off your smartphone, ditch the technology, go out and go fishing and have a good time, you'd probably be in a lot better mood.
Yeah.
It's so funny to watch all these grown men complaining about technology while they're on their damn smartphone on Facebook. Like,
I never thought about it like that.
Is that not the most hypocritical freaking thing?
It is, man. We need to do an episode on that. We've been talking about we need to find the right person to do that if you got anybody in mind. But I'm kind of bored with it now. It's like I'm tired of hearing them complaining. I mean, first of all, it's not as easy. Just because you can see them doesn't mean you can catch them.
These dudes sit out on their phone all day long on the internet when they could be out just fishing. Man, take your John boat out. Don't bring live scope. Get you a spinnerbait. Go to the nearest pond. Go catch
fishing.
some bass and have fun. Quit bitching.
Yep. No.
You know, I mean, man, I don't mean to be like that, but and the other side of it is too, like, why compare yourself to me or Jacob or Wyatt or you, or why compare yourself to why you don't need to do that. Like, you don't have they're going to complain about Jacob Wheeler using live scope at the highest level in bass fishing.
Yeah.
He's a professional, right?
Yep.
He is a professional. Okay, so all professional carpenters need to quit using air guns and go back to using
Go
hammers.
back to hammer down.
No pneumatic air tools whatsoever allowed. We got to all use hammers. You want him to build your house from, like that, or do you want him to, use the best tools out there available and build your house efficiently and effectively? It's a professional sport. It's the highest level of the sport. Maybe we should tell Tom Brady that he shouldn't wear the most advanced shoulder pads out there next year, and that he should, go back to wearing stuff that we wore in the 70s. I don't know. The old helmets with the one little face mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, the stuff is advanced, like, and you're comparing yourself to, like, the highest level guys in the sport. Like, why? You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Fishing is something we can all enjoy. Like, that is what we need to focus on as an industry. It's something that we all can enjoy. I can get just as much enjoyment going out in this pond back here and going fishing with my friends as Jacob does at the Bass Pro Tour fishing on Lake Murray with live scope.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't have to do it the same way. Like, quit comparing yourself. Quit trying to say, well, who cares if Jacob's using live scope? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so silly, man. Just people, and I say that only to say this, that it's not like controversy doesn't help anybody. It doesn't make the sport better. It doesn't. I don't think, like, all that not say controversy, but negativity doesn't help nobody. Mm-hmm. It's not good for the guy that's wasting his time when he could be out fishing. He's on social media being negative. Like, that ain't doing him no good. Nope. It ain't a good image. That ain't doing nobody any good. It makes the brands look bad on social media. Like, there's nothing good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Entry fees entries have dropped, on the co-angler side. That's not good. And it's mainly because of people crying and complaining.
Yeah. 100%.
And then the same guys that weren't catching checks before ain't catching checks now. It ain't made a damn difference. I mean,
no, you're right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If you take all this technology out of everybody's boats, I promise you that 75% of the top guys will still remain the top guys.
Yeah, shakes out the same for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe more, maybe 80.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're 100% right. No, back on the co-angler thing, man. Too, there is a lot of that negativity out there that I think hinders people from making that decision. Well, I don't want to go do that because all I hear is all these horror stories, guys getting stuck behind somebody fishing live scope. Well, hold on a minute, man. Like, to me, I think a lot of the co-angler thing is about learning too, man. You might get lucky enough to draw somebody like Dakota in one of these tournaments and talk about an experience, dude. Like, that's
I've
invaluable.
never had. Now, I'm not saying somebody hadn't cussed me when they got out of my boat, but man, for the most part, like, I've only had one or two over the last 100-something tournaments that didn't go well with being a co-angler situation. But dude, 99%, and it wasn't. I mean, I don't care who they would have drawn; they would have had a bad day. Like, I can't help it when somebody's just having a bad day and don't like being alive. But like
being alive,
like. Dude, but I mean, 99% of the time, man, like, I've had all, good situations, like, even whenever I am doing that. But, man, I will say this, like, there's been times where, like at the Toyota Championship last year, man, I mean, I'm fishing for $235,000, and I quit doing what I'm doing to go run over there to the bank, let my guy throw an A-rig a little bit, try to catch him a keeper or two.
Yeah.
And, man, I mean, should I have done that? I think morally, yes, in my opinion, yeah. Was it the best move as a competitor? No. So I always try to treat my guys respectfully.
No,
like, if I'm out there in the middle, dude, if I'm out there in the middle, and I think that guys should do that, like, in a sense. Man, if you're out there and you're doing something is not very suitable for your co-angler, have a backup plan. Like, have a deal where, look, man, they're just not biting right now out here. Let me go run to the bank. Let me let this guy fish for a little bit and try to get him a keeper or two. Yeah. Have a school of fish found where you can go run over there and you don't make that first cast. You tell him, look, dude, there's a school of fishing right here tying a freaking brush hog or a game hog on a Carolina rig and throw it right here.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Make that cast, catch a couple bass, and then get out of there.
Yeah.
And I did that at Rayburn. I actually did it at Rayburn on day 2. I mean, or on the first day, excuse me. On the first day, I left some big fish and went to a place over there by Bird Island and let my guy throw a Carolina rig around, and he caught him a couple.
Yeah.
And it was killing me because I knew that every second I spent not doing what I needed to be doing was the second less, but dude, it didn't hurt me in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I let that guy catch a couple fish.
Yeah.
So I think there are some boaters out there that can be assholes. And,
you shouldn't
and
be like
get
that.
it. And I get it. Sometimes, man, you just get wrapped up in competition. But, man, you've got to do everything in your power to be respectful of those guys that are riding along with you in that boat.
100%.
Make those guys have a good day. Even if they don't catch nothing, still, man, create a good environment where those guys are learning and they're having a good time out there. And if you just do that, I think most guys are happy when they leave your boat. And I think that's been the biggest thing for me. Is there's been times when my guys have caught them. There's been times when my guys have beat me from the back of the boat. Zach Freeman beat me at Rayburn a couple years ago. Smoked my butt. We were flipping bushes, man. And it seemed like every bush I flipped in, I caught a 2-pounder. Every bush he flipped in, he caught a 4-pounder right behind me. I don't know what he was doing different, but it was something. When he smoked me, he ended up winning the tournament. He won it as a co-angler.
Yeah.
There's been times where my guys haven't caught anything. But I still, as long as you keep the right vibe in your boat and like them guys understand. They know.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Trying to do it for a living.
Most of them say, hey, dude, look, do your thing. We know your entry fee's a lot more than mine. I just hope I catch a couple fish behind you. That's usually the attitude I get. Real nice people.
It is. That's what 90% of, they're just there to learn, have a good time, and get out on the water.
Yep.
And if they catch some along the way, they're extremely happy.
For sure.
Every once in a while, yes, you can, you can draw one that has a bad attitude, but you can't let his attitude dictate your day. And I guarantee you that if you have a good attitude throughout the day, his will usually change.
Yeah, turn around for sure.
Good, I mean,
good advice.
It's all. You got to be vibing in there, man. Like everybody positive, everybody. And if it ain't, just say to yourself and don't say nothing.
Do your thing, man.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Well, you got anything?
We covered all kind of juice today.
Yeah.
Man, we did. It was a good conversation, dude. We're probably going to turn you loose, let you get back to doing what you're doing. I know you're a busy guy. I think you said you got another podcast you're doing tonight. So.
Yeah, we're doing one about 6:30 or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah, guy from back home wants to do something back over there in the boot. But yeah, I'm gonna go through a couple of these rods and figure out what I need, what I don't need, and get ready for Murray.
Well, man, we're gonna be watching, dude. It's been a lot of fun to watch you, and we'll definitely be rooting for you.
Heck yeah, man.
Well, I'll be pulling for you as well in the opens and Wyatt. Hope you do well at your fall. I hope you kick your butt.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll see you soon.
All right, man.
All right, man. Appreciate your time. Take care.
Dakota Ebare.
The guy.
Oh, we got off on a couple of tangents there, but
yeah,
hey,
it was cool.
The main thing was, you guys got a lot of insight on just kind of his thought processes and how he's fishing now versus how he was fishing.
I thought he was just going to say the secret is a cube jig.
Yeah, well, it's funny because as he's pointing these things out, I'm like, oh shit. Well, I did that at Okeechobee when I messed up. Oh, I did that at Clarks Hill when I messed up. It's like,
yeah,
it's so simple, but until you're in that position, under that pressure, on the day of the tournament, you have no idea.
Yeah.
So, and it's all about, to me, it's all about putting yourself in that position.
Nothing can prepare you for that position till you're in it.
And you just the more you put yourself in that position, under pressure,
But I like the part about I'm no longer fishing for a check. And I know some of you might think, well, that sounds a little cliche, fish for the win, fish for the win. It's not, though. It's real. I mean, if you aim for the stars and, you land a little higher, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then you'd hope for. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's times when you probably need to, you're not in contention to win, but you can stumble on it. You can stumble on it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's such a like you said. It's
There's
such
a mental
fine
aspect
line.
to the game.
It's such a fine line too, bro. Like I don't know. You know, he's doing really well. I think he's fishing at an extremely high level. I don't. You know, it ain't like he's finding that one secret spot everywhere he goes, and he's doing well on one spot. Like it's fishing. It's still fishing. It's still generating bites.
But yeah, that's like go back to what I was asking about confidence. That's what I meant by that is confident in your own ability.
Yes.
It's not necessarily confidence in the spot and the gear and everything that I got. Like I got the secret bait. I got the secret spot.
Yeah.
No, it's confidence in yourself to know like I know what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
I know that I'm going to put myself in a position as long as I just keep doing
calm. Yeah.
Keep calm, do what I do.
One is staying calm and confident. That's what I've been preaching to myself more than because of the lessons I'm starting to learn this year. But overall, I think as anglers, you need to preach that to yourself. Stay calm and confident in what you're doing.
Trust yourself.
If they're not where you found them in practice, if they're not doing this, well, guess what? If you got the confidence to say, hey, well, they're not biting this dang square bill down the stretch of rock, man, like, don't keep pushing the issue. Don't keep pushing the envelope. Like, try to adjust. It's hard to do.
And have the confidence in the adjustment you make.
You got to have the confidence in yourself saying, I can go down, I can go up there and flip them bushes and flip those docks just as good as I can go down through here and live scope with a jerk bait on these brush piles or whatever the case may be. You gotta just have confidence in yourself. Say, look, I can catch them however I need to catch them. I just need to make those decisions. But you at least got to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, you got to be around them.
That's been my issue is like, I ain't even giving myself a chance. And I think a lot of guys go through that. You ain't even giving yourself a chance. If they're not doing something and you know it's wrong, like you know it, you can feel it, and you just keep doing it.
Yeah.
You're so locked into what you're doing. You just keep doing, you know it's wrong. You ain't even giving yourself a chance, man. At least give yourself a
Unknown
chance.
caller.
Golly.
That was loud.
But
Unknown caller.
I think there's a lot to learn from that.
I
And
muted that.
a lot to learn from that and what he said, man. And I think that dude right now, I know he said that he wants to be consistent as a whole in his whole career for the long haul. Well, that's what he's going to be. You know? I mean, that's what he's doing. He's going to continue to do it. He's been doing it for, honestly, several years. And,
I think he's going to have a super long career, and he's going to be
one
at
of
the top of
those
sport for many years to come.
One of those guys. And it's all right here, you know. So
he's got it. He's good.
Lessons learned.
Man.
Always learning.
Yep. And quit complaining about live scope. That was the other message.
Oh, God, for Christ's
sake. We do need to do an episode on that, man. I
just don't want to beat the dead horse anymore.
I know. I'm tired of talking about it, but it's
so bad, dude.
But still, it comes up every time. Like that catch he had on what was that lake y'all were at?
Clarksville?
Yeah, where he broke off and
Yeah.
he throws in there. And I read some of the comments, and the guy was like, how does he know? It's like, dude, come on. Don't waste your energy being negative.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I think that not just in the fishing industry, but everywhere you look, there's negativity. You know, it's going to happen. I think the best thing to do is just drown it out, really, as a whole.
Yeah, I just don't want people it feels like it's becoming an excuse.
While other people aren't, when the people don't do good.
Yeah,
they're blaming it because they don't have live scope.
I guess I don't know.
Yeah. I could see that. Well, actually, as a matter of fact, I know that for a fact. Even here on the local level, at Rayburn especially, actually, this season it seems like it's been worse than any others. Like multiple guys, man, blaming all those dang live scopers or if they didn't have live scope, man, like it's like, dude, come on now.
I think we need to save it for an episode, and I want to get two people on. I want to get somebody like Randy Blockett, who's anti-scope, and somebody who can, be the other opposition there, and we can be that if we want. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call us scopers, but we use the tools that we have at our hands. So
I am pro forward-facing sonar.
Yes, I use it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm for it, and really, I don't see the negative side that a lot of these guys are saying. I think one of the biggest, the only reasonable argument, I know we'll get into this if we do the next episode, it's not even really reasonable, but the whole financial side of it, right? Like the other guys that just claim all this hearsay or whatever they say about live scope, it's all kind of irrelevant and ignorant. But the one thing is like, well, we can't all afford.
That's true. It's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, and
but the sport's expensive.
Sport is expensive, but like Dakota said, you got to quit comparing yourself to the professionals at the top of the level.
Yeah, man. I mean, at that level, you got to use all the tools you can.
Yeah, and you got like Dakota said, it's a really good comparison because you got to quit comparing yourself to those guys if you're not trying to be like those guys. That's like you going out there and playing intramural football or intramural softball, slow pitch softball, baseball, or something with your buddies once or twice a week, and trying to compare yourself to Mike Trout and you know what I'm saying? Like and that's exactly, he's right. I never thought about it that way, but that is true. That's what they're doing. You know, they're trying to compare themselves to the best. You don't want to do it.
No.
You're just going to get your feelings hurt. They're not, those guys, if there's anything I've learned so far this year, these guys do not joke. They're not a joke. No. They don't play around. They are for real. And if you take live scope away from them, they will still kick your ass. They are good. They are legit. It's really not a joke. So, you know, it is what it is. I think there's a no electronics tournament on Rayburn. I'd really love to get in that. Just to
let's go
thrash their ass. But I'm not going to be here. So
when is that?
I don't know. I didn't even look at the date. But I'm pretty sure we're not going to be here. So
probably not. We got some stuff coming up. So.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, not going to promise another episode anytime soon.
No idea.
No idea.
Might never do another one ever again.
But we got Dakota Ebare on. That was a good one, man.
Might be the finale. Season finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time, man, we're going to do what we can. Until next time.
All right. See y'all.